All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the home base meetup, the double dose day, as I like to call it. This is the second half. We had Power School this morning, and now we're doing learning.com this afternoon, and we're very thankful for you being here today. Please know, I didn't mention this morning, and I should have with the crowd we had, but I do like our new Shindig logo there that um, Yolanda spun up for us. Um, And if you would please, there's the bit.ly to the opening slides, and there is the access to the sign-in sheet for February in the bottom right. Please make sure you do that. Here are all our call signs, hashtags, any other thing you want to come up for it. This is how you can find us on social media. Please make sure you're visiting on our sites. We're trying to get word out there to communicate with everybody about all the wonderful things we're doing in home base. And I appreciate you for visiting our sites. Just a couple of housekeeping items. This is how you can communicate us during this today. We have a looks like very small crowd today, so we might even be able to unmute you and you guys can communicate back and forth with us if you like. But if not, you can always share your chat and do that. So that would be a very, very good thing for us. Home-based meetups are very important. They're a way for us to foster and work with the field and make sure we're providing the best service and products for you as a whole. So we really like this opportunity to talk to you and get feedback from you. And today we'll have Audrey will take over as soon as I'm with the opening slides, and she will continue with the process with learning.com. And then we have two left. Tomorrow we have Pam doing Canvas with the home-based team supporting her. And on Friday we have Pam again with Canvas, or excuse me, with Go Open on Friday. And as you can see, this is our February meetings, and then we will have meetings April 26th through the 30th. So we look forward to seeing you then, and we do anticipate those being virtual as well, and hope we can get back to normal next year. This is our Lighting the Way Forward document that we have and other digital teaching and learning resources that we have available to you. So please make sure that you are going to these resources and visiting them. Also, please remember, Digital Learning Day is February 25th. We are very excited. Obviously, at Digital Teaching and Learning, this is our time to shine and let everyone see how well the digital curriculum is working in their classrooms and in their schools. So please make sure that you are out there telling us what you're doing, as well as we have an OER virtual conference in partnership with Go Open Virginia from 2:30 to 5. Please make sure if you are available, please make sure you can attend that to learn how all those wonderful ones can be used. And this is the home base website that we tell you everything we have for home base and all the products we use and the way that they work. So please make sure you visit that to do all the resources that you need. And then please, we talked about social media a little bit earlier. This is the home base social media kind of page for us. We have a Did You Know that goes out every Wednesday. And please make sure to remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're trying to get 500 likes. We're not quite there yet, but please make sure that you go in and like us. Please make sure you let us know who the leads are. It's very important we communicate that. I know we do a lot of these opening slides over and over again every time, but they're extremely important for us to keep in good communication with what's going on. And then the slide deck is there. I went over it too fast. There's the slide decks that you will see. The learning.com slide will be dropped in shortly. But come tomorrow, you will have a complete slide deck of everything that was discussed at the home-based meetups, as well as the recordings will be open for you as well. And there is the great team that is home base. These are the project managers, and they work really well, and the trainers that work really well to make sure that you get everything you need, from communication to training to just a good solid product. And we are very blessed to be here and work for you, and I appreciate your time here today. I'm now going to pass the ball back to Audrey, and then she can take over, or to Brian, who needs to get the ball.
To myself. You can pass it to me.
All right. And I'm working on that. Just give me
Okay.
a second. I have not done this in here, but I'm going to figure it out.
I think I might be, let me see.
I think you are actually able to
I can do it? Okay.
Yeah, I think you just did.
Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen.
Did it work?
Yeah, it should have. Yeah.
There you go.
Wait a minute, hold on. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. We can see your screen.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to learning.com, which is the K-8 digital literacy solution. I'm Audrey Long. I'm the DPI education product consultant for learning.com. And with me today, I have Brian Rose, who is the SVP for the Business Development and Strategic Partnerships for learning.com. And the State Program Manager is Tiffany Kinney. And Tiffany is not with us today. She is currently on maternity leave. And we'd like to say congratulations to Tiffany and her family. And continuing with the agenda today, we had a webinar on last Thursday for learning.com, and I'll be sharing just a little information on that. Then I'll go over what's new for 2021. Then I'll show you the usage as of February 2021. Then I'll switch it over to Brian. And during his presentation, he will go over, he will share with you a student intro video on careers in tech in North Carolina. Then on Friday, I will also be sending out a survey for learning.com, and I'll just briefly give you a little information on that. And then we'll also open the floor for questions. And this information here has already been put in the chat for you. This link is for the opening slides, and this is the slide deck for learning.com today. As I said earlier, last Thursday, Brian did a webinar on K-8 digital literacy initiative. And this is the information for the webinar, and I'll enter that information into the chat for your convenience to view. And I would recommend for you to take the time to look at it. During that webinar, Brian shared with us some valuable information on the importance of the digital literacy during this time and on how learning.com is addressing those needs. We are excited about the new K-2 content that learning.com has created. It's Introduction to Computer Fundamentals. The content involves introduction to pointer devices and making choices, critter catch, and also showing the students how to select multiple objects. And Brian will go into more detail on this new content during his presentation. Currently, we have 30 districts that have contracted with learning.com for the 20 through 21 school year. Here are just some numbers. Here are the numbers of total engaged students, total launches, and launches per usage for 2019, for the 2019-2020 school year. And here are the launches as of February. And as you can see, we already have 4,000 more engaged students for the 2021 school year. And like I said, this is as of February. And we're already about to exceed the total launches and the launches per usage. So we're just very excited on how learning.com is being used in the PSUs so far this year. This is just a chart that shows the launches by content area. And of course, the largest usage right now is the online safety launches. And then we have the keyboarding launches, and then computer fundamental launches. Also being utilized a lot is the business apps, common sense education, and computational thinking and coding launches. So we're, like I said, we're just very excited about how learning.com is being used in the PSUs and how they're utilizing the different parts of learning.com for teaching, especially during remote learning. And now this is just a map that shows the Tier 1 districts, Tier 2, and the Tier 3 districts. And so now I'll turn it over to Brian. So just give me a little time to put the ball back in his court. Hold on.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Brian, there's a little bit of an echo, but I'm not sure that that's controllable. Just wanted to let you know. At least I heard one.
Okay. Well, I'll try to see what I can do for that.
That's actually better.
It's better? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, good. Good. First of all, I appreciate everybody's time. As Audrey mentioned, Tiffany is on maternity leave, so I apologize. You got the second team today, but she'll be back, I think, actually in just a few weeks.
Excuse
Audrey,
me. You could go ahead and share your screen now.
Actually, I don't have the presentation, so if you put the presentation up,
okay, no problem.
if you wouldn't mind advancing on my behalf, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, Audrey.
I don't mind. Okay, hold on.
While Audrey's bringing that up, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that she has spoken about during the presentation. So our usage this year, given everything that you all have had to deal with remote learning, we're really excited about the usage we're seeing. People educators have really had to modify their approach to teaching digital literacy this year. And the fact that we have more students engaged and we're about at par with our usage from last year with respect to student launches is, I think, very good news for us. And I'll spend some time during the presentation talking about the different ways that folks in the state have been utilizing us. I also wanted to talk just a little bit about the counties. Your Department of Commerce has come out with a new list of designated tiers, economic designated tiers. And so this just identifies some potentially new tier ones, that tier 1 counties that will be entering for next school year, and some movement from tier 1 to tier 2. So we may have the opportunity from a tier 1 perspective to be serving some new counties and PSUs going into this year. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Audrey. Thank you. I'm going to spend some time highlighting the new K2 content. Some of you may be aware of it, but I just wanted to spend some time highlighting not only where it's located, but also some very specific objectives of that content. I'll point out that, frankly, some of the development that went into our K2 content was direct feedback that we received in North Carolina through some small group meetings. I'm seeing, Audrey, I'm seeing it.
Oh. Okay.
Go back to the previous. There you go. So the feedback we received during some of our smaller meetings drove some of the K2 development work. So I want to highlight the fact that a lot of this is through direct feedback from North Carolina educators. So for those of you that aren't familiar with where the new K2 content is located, the focus for K2 with this last release was on computer fundamentals. So within the computer fundamentals tile in our library, you have the ability to push into all content or K, grade 1 or grade 2, and you would find there 5 new pieces of content, and those are highlighted in the blue there. I'm going to push into each one of those specifically in the slide deck here and just outline the objectives of some of that. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Audrey.
I'm sorry.
So the first piece of content is Introduction to Computer Fundamentals. This is a short video, 3 minutes in length, that is intended to orient a K through 2 student into the basics of computer fundamentals using Ollie the Owl. This is for those of you that are familiar with our K2 content, you would know that Ollie is our digital coach, if you will, for computer fundamentals. In this video, students learn some basics about how to be safe on the internet. Specifically, there's some conversation about ensuring that students understand that they need to log out when they're on the internet, those kinds of things. Again, a short orientation video. There's not any specific requirements for a student to answer questions or take a quiz or anything about this particular lesson. This is all just about orienting students to the concepts of computer fundamentals. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Following that particular lesson, students are introduced to pointer devices. Specifically, this was an area where we did not have content prior to this release. Our focus prior to this was on a mouse functionality, recognizing now that students have multiple ways to interact with their computing device, whether it's a mouse, a pointer, a trackpad, whatever that might be. We've introduced some new lessons specific to that. You can see here the specific objectives that go along with this lesson. I also want to point out that we've also highlighted specific keywords. So for those educators that are introducing these lessons prior to the student engaging with them, there's an opportunity here for the educators to focus in on some keywords to help the students to get started with these specific lessons. So this is the intro to pointer devices. As you can see, it's a 5-minute lesson. That was another thing that we did as part of the development of our content for K2. We've got direct feedback about the length of lessons. So we've tried to introduce shorter lessons and then more specific lessons on the content. Go ahead, Audrey. The next lesson is about pointers and making choices. So the students get to practice using pointer devices. They get to understand the differences between checkboxes and radio buttons. And they got to also select or practice selecting objects using their pointer device. Again, keywords, a short 5-minute lesson. The check boxes and the radio buttons, the differences between those, again, that was direct feedback from educators. Some of that had to do with just being able to support students in remote learning as they started to engage with those types of interactives, if you will, in remote learning environments. So this was our response to that. Go ahead, Audrey. One of the things that you'll start to see learning.com provide, and this I'll spend some time as I talk about some of the new content that we're developing, is new ways for students to demonstrate their understanding and practice. So those that are familiar with our current lessons understand that the way that we do our instruction is we have what we call a show scene, where we're showing students how to do something, and then we ask them to demonstrate their understanding. What you'll start to see us do in addition to that is to provide games and other interactives that students can use to practice their skills. This particular piece of content is a brand new type of interactive that we have introduced. It's a game where a student gets to practice their mouse and trackpad skills. essentially they have the opportunity as objects appear, in this case, it's critter catch. This is insects appear on the screen, and the students use their mouse or their trackpad device to select the object, and as they select the object, they earn points. Again, it's just a way to allow them to practice one of the previous skills that we taught them during one of the student-led lessons. Go ahead, Audrey. And then finally, the final lesson in this series is one where we're teaching students how to select multiple objects. So in a prior lesson, we taught them how to select a single object. In this lesson, we're teaching them how to select multiple objects. This lesson is a bit longer, 10 minutes in length, but lots of great concepts here that students are having an opportunity to learn. So I'm going to pause just a moment. I see there's chat. If there's any specific questions you might have on the K2 content, Audrey has a copy of a document that I provided late last week that identifies the 5 different lessons that we produced for K2, some of the basics around those lessons, so you can take that document, review it for yourself, as well as provide it to the educators within your district and school so that they're aware of the availability of those different lessons for K2. Are there any questions at this point? I know we have a small group, so I'm happy to take any questions either by voice or by chat. Okay.
Brian, I'm not seeing any questions out there.
Okay, perfect.
Audrey, are you seeing any?
No, I didn't see any. No.
Okay. Thank you, Audrey, Cami.
Uh-huh.
So the next, if you'll go ahead and advance to the next slide, I wanted to talk about some materials that I'm not sure everybody is aware are available. You are most likely aware of the fact that in the last release of content back in early fall, we released 4 brand new lessons that were focused on remote learning, troubleshooting, commenting during a virtual classroom meetings, and netiquette for online communication. Those were 4 brand new lessons that we introduced in support of, frankly, the pandemic. And again, these were lessons we produced through direct feedback from DPI. In addition to the student-led lessons, there were a host of offline materials that were available to teachers to utilize. And I just wanted to highlight those. If you're not aware of the fact that they were available or where to find them, I just wanted to spend a few minutes showing you that. So those lessons are within our library under the Online Safety and Digital Citizenship tile. And within that tile, there's another tile called Prep for Online Learning. So that's where you find those 4 lessons if you're not familiar with their location today. They were targeted towards grades 3 through 8. Go ahead, Audrey, if you could advance the slide deck for me. Now, as a teacher, you have the ability to select a particular lesson. It would pull up a screen like what you're seeing. This is, for example, troubleshooting basics for online learning. This was that new lesson. There's a lot of material here in support of a teacher, including the keywords, the objectives, and so on. And in fact, there's teacher notes, extension opportunities, and of course, alignment to standards provided here. But you'll see, for example, this highlighted area called troubleshooting tips. If you as a teacher were to select on that, you would see an offline piece of material that could be displayed to students, could be printed out, could be printed out and put on a board, could be printed out and mailed to students. Lots of different ways to use this, but this was specific content that supported the troubleshooting basics for online learning lesson that could be utilized by a teacher. Go ahead, Audrey. Under the virtual classroom meeting, lesson, there were 2 pieces of content, a getting ready checklist. And this was a piece of material that was intended to be used by students, but we provided it to the teachers as a way for them to review with their students. It's essentially a list of things that students should consider doing prior to engaging in a virtual classroom meeting. The other was additional tips from a teacher. So again, these are pieces of material, offline materials that are available for teachers for printing, putting on boards, and those kinds of things. Go ahead, Audrey. Another piece of offline material was tips for online communications. These were just netiquette-like items that you could provide to students and, frankly, their parents. Again, available to a teacher to print out and use as appropriate. Next slide.
Is that the slide, or I need to go another one?
Slide, please.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the materials I just showed you are also available for students, and I wanted to just show for those educators that are on the call today where those are located. So this is a picture of a typical student classroom. Their instructional pathway, of course, is available to them, but in the upper right-hand corner, there is a question mark that a student can select. And all of the materials that I just mentioned that are available to teachers are also available to students within that location. So again, they can select on those, view those, and print those out, download them, and so on. So I just wanted to touch on that offline material. It's something that's relatively new to learning.com, wasn't obvious with respect to where they were located. So I just wanted to spend a few moments pointing that out to everybody that's on the call. Okay. So now I'm going to change gears on you a little bit and just highlight a couple of things that are new to our online training center. Most of you are probably aware of the fact that learning.com provides an online training center. It's available through our platform, or it's available through our website through the support button that's up the upper right-hand corner. Any teacher, any administrator who has learning.com credentials has immediate access to our online training center. The online training center, for those of you that are not familiar with it, is packed full of small video vignettes that can provide just-in-time training on specific features and functionality of the learning.com platform and curriculum. So I encourage you, if you have not gone to our online training center, to go to the online training center, use your learning.com credentials, log in, and you'll be presented with an entire course that you can go through to learn more about the platform. If you were to go through it step by step, it may take you an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through the entire course. It's not intended necessarily to be utilized that way. It's intended to be utilized just in time training, but how you utilize it is totally up to you. There's a couple of new additions to the online training center. One is a blog, and the other is community forums. I wanted to just spend a few moments talking about that. There's some opportunities for educators to engage in the forums, and I wanted to just step through how you might do that. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Audrey. So again, accessing forums. When you go to the online training center, you're going to be presented with 3 choices. One is to log on and view your courses. One is to view the blogs, and the other is to explore the forums. Simply click on the Explore Forums button, and you'll be presented with the next slide, Audrey. Here you have the ability to pick and choose from multiple forums. So you'll find, for example, in this, you can look at how you might integrate digital literacy into core curriculum areas. There's a forum on coding. There's all sorts of different forums that you as an educator can poke into, engage with, and I would encourage you to explore those. You even have the ability to create new forums, which I'll talk about in just a minute. On the right-hand side of this slide, you'll see all the details, for example, of the coding forum. But this is an opportunity for our educators to share best practices, ask questions, engage in a community that's interested in a specific topic relevant to digital literacy. Go ahead, Audrey. Educators have the ability to earn badges by engaging in the forum, by posting on social media. So again, this is an opportunity. We know that our educators like the opportunity for earning rewards and badges associated with engaging in forums like this. Next slide. Again, I provided Audrey with a how-to document for the forums, and she can provide that document out to this group. And it will get you started. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and Tiffany when she returns. Any questions on the online training? Again, I would really encourage everybody to take a look at that, especially as we wrap up this school year and start to look at next fall. It's hard to believe it's not that far off, but we're already talking about next fall. It's a great opportunity to renew your understanding of learning.com and see how others may be utilizing it. So the next couple of slides, I just wanted to begin to prepare you for new content that you should be seeing over the next 3 to 6 months. So as we enter spring, we'll be introducing some new content, and the release of that content will continue through the fall of this next coming school year. We talked a little bit about the K2 functionality. As part of this presentation, what's coming next is a focus on grades 3 through 5. Prior to talking specifics about where we're going to focus our energies, I wanted to give you a bit of an outline for the format of that content and some new things that you'll start to see. Evidence of that was in some of the new K2 content, but we'll really be emphasizing some new learning module types, which you'll start to see in grades 3 through 5. So this is just an example of online safety and digital citizenship unit of study. This is actually an area we'll be focusing a lot of energy on in preparation for this fall. So as you think about a unit of study, what you should think about is there'll be a unit introduction video, very similar to what we did with computer fundamentals in K2, where there was a video that introduced the concepts of that particular unit of study. As you guys all recall, in grades 3 through 8, we always have a skill check where we check a student's initial understanding of specific concepts related to that skill area. We'll then enter into a vocabulary component. So we'll be emphasizing in our new grades 3 through 5 specific vocabulary and opportunities either through online or offline content for students and teachers to engage in the specific vocabulary associated with this skill area and the lessons that we'll be teaching. Then we'll enter into learning modules, and in our learning modules, you might see a continuation of our current student-led lesson format where you have a combination of show and do scenes. You might see a video similar to the unit intro video. There'll be practice opportunities. So examples of that is like what you saw in the K2. So where we can use games and practice components similar to games, we'll utilize those. There may be a formative assessment. Our instructional team will be trying to select the best type of learning module for the skill that we're trying to teach. All of that will be followed by a skill check to then measure students' understanding of that specific skill area. And then, of course, the reports to support the teacher to view the difference between the pre-skill check and the post-skill check at both the student, the classroom, the school, and the district level. So I just wanted to spend a few moments giving you an idea of our concepts for our grade 3 content. If you'll then go to the next slide, Audrey, I'm going to push into some very specifics about where our focus is going to be. So all of the specifics with respect to the number of learning objects and on and offline resources, all of that is could change based upon the development schedule and the specifics behind each one of the content areas. But generally speaking, the 4 areas that you'll see our focus beyond is on online safety and digital citizenship. That's the first skill area. We know that that's an area where people focus their energies at the very, very beginning of a school year. So that's where you'll see us spend a lot of time this spring and early fall. In that area, you'll see approximately 17 new objects being developed, both online and offline objects. Current estimates are about 6 new videos, 2 new offline resources, 3 interactive practices, and 3 formative assessments. The next area is around computer fundamentals. Now, I want to also point out one of the specific areas of emphasis will be on grade-specific content. So one of the things we learned and we received feedback from over the last 12 to 18 months was that we needed to have grade-specific content. So that's the other thing that you'll see across these 4 skill areas will be grade-specific content that will scaffold students from grades 3 through grades 5. So computer fundamentals, again, approximately 32 learning objects. Of course, that's still up for change, but you can see across computer fundamentals all the different types of resources that our hope is to introduce over the next 3 to 6 months. Same is true for internet usage and online communications. It's important to point out that internet usage and online communications go hand in hand with online safety and digital citizenship. So we suspect there'll be a lot of cross-pollination, if you will, across those 3 different areas. Any questions around grades 3 through 5 content?
Not seeing any questions out there. Guys, if you have any questions, please open your chat and type them into the chat.
Yeah, we're going through this really fast, so we may be done pretty early today. The last thing I wanted to point out, and I haven't figured out, frankly, how to share my video and audio. So I think what I'm going to do is work with Audrey to get this video in her hands, and she can post it and make it available to you all. But one of the things that we'll be emphasizing going into this next fall is helping to connect students' understanding of digital literacy skills with careers. And so we have developed a short video that outlines specific opportunities in the state of North Carolina, identifies some companies, identifies types of careers, identifies the salary ranges, identifies the skill areas that those careers require, and then tie that into learning.com and the instruction that we provide through learning.com and EasyTech. It's a short 3-minute video that starts at the very high level, opportunities that exist for graduates in North Carolina in technology areas, and then drops down into a brief introduction of learning.com and EasyTech and what a student would experience within that environment. Our hope is that this will help teachers to draw a direct connection between those skills and the relevancy for those skills for students. It's about a 3 to 4 minute video that I will hope to make available to everybody over the next few days, I hope. I'll get it to Audrey and then we can figure out the best way to post it.
Okay. Brian, do you happen to have a like a website or URL that maybe we could post? Is it through YouTube?
It's actually an MP4 video, so I'm not sure what the best way will be to get it to everybody, but I just wanted to make everybody aware of it, and okay. I will get it out and available to everybody to take a look at and then determine the relevancy to your individual students. I'm pretty excited by it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, if you get us that, we'll take care of that on our end. Just if you'll get us that MP4, we'll figure out how to get it to our folks.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
I think, Audrey, if I'm not mistaken, okay. I think that may be the end of my deck.
Okay. Yeah, because this part is like I mentioned earlier, on Friday, I will be sending out a survey for NCDPI to measure the use and identify the impact of the platform of the Digital Literacy Initiative. And it will also be an opportunity for LEAs and charter schools that are not currently participating in learning.com, give you an opportunity to express your interest and, request any additional information. So again, that'll be going out on this Friday. And so again, we just open up for questions. If anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask or anything, feel free to ask at this time.
I'm going to add to that.
Okay.
If it's not just questions, if you have comments or how you're using it, or you want to share anything like that, please do that. Go ahead, whoever's first up.
Also, this is the information that I just posted in chat. This is the information for the webinar that was held on last Thursday. If you want to take your time to go and view that, that's the website and the password for that webinar as well.
Hi guys, this is Cammie. I also put in your chat the feedback form link, and Audrey, I did add one more slide to your deck that includes that feedback link.
Okay, then.
So today, and that also comes with the certificate. Once you fill out the feedback, we always like to hear what you guys would like to see during these home-based meetups, and any kind of training you'd like to have during this time. So please take time to fill that out, and you guys can unmute yourself if you want to ask any questions this time too.
Rob, you asked a question. This is Brian. The one thing I didn't get to touch on was a couple of implementation examples. I thought I had inserted a slide into the deck, and I must have neglected to do that. What I commented on with respect to usage, I'm really excited that we're seeing still a lot of usage in North Carolina during this chaotic time, and I think hats off to the creativeness of the educators across the state. They've figured out ways to utilize learning.com in a fully remote or a blended model. And I just wanted to touch on a few of those, if that's okay.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. One of the things that we're all aware of the fact that because this online curriculum is available, 24/7, and so For example, we've had educators in the state that are utilizing learning.com as kind of a bell ringer activity. So students were coming into an online or virtual classroom. They spend the first few minutes going off and doing a lesson and then coming back. That was one of the ways that we saw a lot of use. You saw during the slide that was talking about the different skill areas where the focus was. Adaptive keyboarding was a fairly high utilized skill area for grades 3 through 8. And so a lot of educators were using adaptive keyboarding as part of that bell ringer activity, or they were also, upon conclusion of a class, having students go off and spend 5 to 10 minutes in keyboarding practice. That was also an area that was being assigned as homework. So there were some homework activities associated with keyboarding. A lot of the younger students, this concept of we do, you do. So we had teachers watching the videos online with the students and actually performing the practice together. So there was that type of activity, and we were seeing some integration into core. So utilizing some of the digital literacy activities as part of core curriculum. So those are just a couple of examples of the creativeness of educators in the state this year using learning.com.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Any additional questions, concerns? Okay. Rob, did you have anything else that you wanted to include?
No,
or add?
No, I am good. I believe that
Okay.
it has been a good session. I hope that you have found it to be good as well. And I know that learning.com will continue to grow. And please reach out to Audrey or Brian and Tiffany when she returns. If you guys have any questions or comments that you feel you need, and we are always here for you. So thank you very much.
Lindsay want to know if we didn't discuss anything about funding for this for next year, but if you have any questions, feel free. I'll provide you with my email address, Lindsay, and if you could just send me, shoot me an email for any concerns you have about the funding, then I'll get back with you as soon as possible. You're welcome. Okay. If there's no more questions, then this is the end for learning.com, and we do appreciate you joining us, and have a good evening.